right perspective. Back when I was driving a Vectra, my mind was on the setup and ease. No time for the let up and breeze. Young man with a vision, my ammunition was let off and squeezed.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Skillshare Secrets series. This is lesson number 5. And in this lesson, we're going to focus on visual appeal, but we're going to focus on visual appeal from the perspective of the viewer's learning experience, okay? And before we get started, I do want to apologize for the extreme amount of noise that you're going to hear throughout this video. Unfortunately, there is construction going on, and I don't know when this is going to end. It's probably going to go on for quite a while, for I don't know however many days or weeks. So in order for me to get this content out to you, I have to just deal with the situation, and hopefully you can bear with me until this is all done. But I don't want to get too sidetracked here. Let me go ahead and focus on what we need to get done today. So dealing with visual appeal and the learning experience, enhancing that learning experience. One of the things that I think is important is making sure that you don't have too much clutter on screen. If you have like 10 or 20 different text elements on screen, which I know that's extreme, maybe not that many, but even if you have 5 or 6, things happening on screen at once, that could become a issue of clutter. And what I mean by clutter is it causes a distraction. It causes confusion, and it causes people not to grasp or learn what it is you're trying to teach. If you put 4, 5, 6, or 10 or 15, 20 things up on screen at once, that can kind of overload the viewer. So make sure that you have a balance with how much information you're putting on screen. And one of the things you can do to make sure you're not putting too much information on screen is just to go back and watch the video and review it yourself before releasing it, and ask yourself, if you were a new learner who just started learning about this particular subject matter, whatever it is that you're watching, ask yourself, would I be able to grasp all that information? Because if you can't, that can cause frustrations for your viewers, right? If you're having that experience, if you're pretending you're a new viewer, most likely your viewers are going to have that same experience. So you don't want to frustrate your viewers and overload them with information. That's a big no. If you overload them with information, that could lead to less watch time, or that can cause you just to lose the student altogether. And that's not something that you want to do. The main goal is to keep people watching as long as possible and entertaining them with good visuals. Another important component is to consider how long is that information on screen. So if you do put up 3, 4, 5 elements at once, make sure that it's on screen long enough for them actually to read the information. So again, go back and review your video and make sure that you have enough time personally, pretending that you're a new viewer. Make sure you have enough time to grasp that information and make sure it's on screen long enough. Another thing that you want to consider is making sure you choose the right visuals. Okay, and knowing when to put a visual up is important, and that's something that you have to evaluate. I can't personally tell you when to put a visual up or what type of visual to put up, because only you know your area of expertise and what's important to emphasize to enhance the learning experience. But I can give you an example from teaching a piece of software as an example, because that's pretty universal. Most software that you teach has similarities in some type of way, shape, or form. So for example, if I were mentioning a shortcut such as Control-C, which is a pretty universal shortcut, but assuming that your audience didn't know that particular shortcut, you could put a shortcut up on screen saying, hey, hit Control-C, and you show that visual, and you have it on there for maybe 4 seconds or 5 seconds, which is more than enough for them to capture that visual component. Maybe they didn't hear you that well, maybe you have an accent, and it's really important for them to know that shortcut because you're using a shortcut to get to a particular menu that they don't know how to get to without using the shortcut, because you only use the shortcut during that training. Okay? Another thing that you want to consider is you could use drawings to enhance the visual experience. Maybe you're doing something on human anatomy, and having a picture or a drawing can help enhance that training. Okay, so consider that. Diagrams. If you're teaching music, having diagrams of what the key signature is, what chord progressions you're using, could help enhance the learning. Okay, animations. There are some concepts that are very complex. Maybe you're teaching something about servers or other electronic components. Having some animated visuals to demonstrate that information could be very useful. Maybe you're teaching about solar power, And so if you're teaching about solar power, you can have an animation that tells you how to hook everything up. Those things all help enhance the learning experience. So let's now deal with another type of visual experience, which is if you were on screen doing a video and you're actually recording yourself in a video and not just your screen. Make sure that you don't have any clutter in your background that can distract the person from watching your video. If you have a bunch of clutter, you have things just kind of scattered everywhere, it doesn't look professional and it draws people's attention away from the content. Okay, and make sure that the clothing that you're wearing is not super bright and distracting. So those are my tips on enhancing the visual experience, which is very important because it can cause you to lose students if it's not done correctly. It can cause your students to get frustrated. So even if they do watch the course because they are interested in it, but they're frustrated, they might not leave you a good rating because of that. So just think about those things. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, stay tuned for future videos. And also, I am going to post a link in the description to one of my courses that teaches you how to do some things with motion graphics and animations. And there's going to be 100 free seats available to anyone who is subscribed to this channel. So 100 free seats available. And if you really want to support this channel, please check that course out, because your support on Skillshare helps me to continue to make videos about Skillshare Secrets. And I may even expand this into other subject matters, but for right now we're just going to focus on Skillshare Secrets. Okay, so with that being said, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos regarding Skillshare Secrets series.